Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. I'm your host, presented by georgiaconstructioncareers.com. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to bring on head coach for Grayson Hoops. I'm going to hold out hope for that a little bit. He's supposed to come on between 2 and 3, so we'll see if he texts me back. But if not, we'll keep it rolling. But we're going to take a couple deep dives, kind of just classifications we don't always talk about. That's Class 4A, Class 3A. So at the on slide of the show, it's supposed to be Grayson coach, but if we don't get him in that first slot, then we're just going to talk about Class 4A and Class 3A a little bit in depth and about the matchups. Also today, we're going to talk about the tell of the tape. We're talking about AJ Benton from Milton, linebacker, 2025 class. He's very, very special. And we're going to break down his tape. And then also another school we'll talk about a lot, Stockbridge. Craig talks about him a lot, but other people don't. And we're going to break down his tape. The senior linebackers having an outstanding season for Stockbridge, and they're one of my sleepers. I picked them on another show I host on Tuesdays with Bacon and Inside the Hashes and Bacon Network. And I said, Stockbridge is my favorite. I know North Oconee is very, very good. They're going to be there. If it goes how the bracket's supposed to go, they will face off actually in the semifinal matchup. So we'll talk about that as well in his tell of the tape. And then we got to go over the top 10 headlines for the weekend that's kind of headlined by the big time on the radars Hoop Classic hosted by Norcross High School. I just did a daily dive article on it up on scoreatl.com, so you can check that out. But we're going to go over the matchup a little bit and talk about it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about some of these matchups that intrigue me out in 4A, and then we'll dive into 3A. Okay, so the first one is Cedartown. A lot of people are down on Cedartown because they're 8-3. North Oconee's dominated the competition all season long. It's actually last year's semifinal game rematch. Cedartown won it 28-20. If you guys don't remember, Cedartown went all the way to the state championship before losing to Benedictine. Tried to get it in late, couldn't punch it in. Benedictine gets the big time goal line stop. Incredible game, very thrilling matchup between both of those teams. But coming into this one, big matchup last year. Cedartown advanced to this year's second round with a 21-7 victory over Holly Innocence. Jewel Davis is one to watch, 145 yards and 15 carries. Tay Harris is another guy, UGA commit. He ran for 55 yards and had 12 tackles and scored 2 touchdowns, 1 on a fumble return. So number 2, North Oconee is the only team remaining from Region 8, Class 4A, the state's largest region. Last week, they actually fell behind Pace Academy 6-0 in the first quarter, but scored the game's next 52 points on a 13 victory against them. So I think the key in this one, just looking at that stat line, is that if you are Cedartown, you want to come in this game and you want to get an early start, right? You want to jump out ahead. You want to kind of create some pressure on North Oconee, right? Get an early 10-0, 14-0 lead against them, kind of get them, a little bit on edge, create some more pressure for them to have to come back and try to win that game. So I think that's going to be key in that one as well. Them jumping out to a fast start. We know how good Tay Harris is, does a little bit of everything for them, kind of their Swiss Army knife, plays both sides of the ball, an elite Georgia commit as well. So that's something to watch for in that one. And the next one, the team I've been high on all year long is Central Carrollton, right? I just love what they can do, right? Gicari Harris, freshman quarterback, he beat out a senior coming into this season, right? And he's been really, really good as a freshman. He's a kid I lobbied for and advocated for to make the Georgia Elite Classic. Him and also North Cobb Christian's quarterback Teddy Gerard. I just thought they've had some special seasons. One for Teddy, real quick, just him allowing that team or helping that team win their first ever region championship. That was big for them, something they never did in their school history and program history. And look where they are now, competing and contending in 2A. And then, for Gicari Harris, just it's not easy to go 11-0 as a freshman, right? You can have all the pieces there, but get in the system, learning it, playing at a high level. You let in a team that's 11-0, playing some phenomenal football. They also got outstanding rusher Jonas Walton, who's also a heavily recruited just player in the 2026 class as well. So I think they got an outstanding team, really great players as well. Lovett does have Khalil Towns, who rushed for 203 yards of their 268 rushing yards and scored 3 touchdowns in their latest win. But I don't know, man. I think it's just tough to kind of go in there on a road at Central Carrollton, at the Lions house, and beat them. And this is the first year under head coach Umber Brown. They went 11-0, first time since 2014, 41-33 victory over Hatfield Charter. In that game, they won against Hatfield. Gicari Harris, that I mentioned, 10 of 15, 179 yards, and 2 tutties. So a big-time game for him. And then Jonas Walton, 16 carries, 63 yards, and 2 touchdowns as well. So it's going to be a tough game for Lovett. I think the atmosphere is going to be next level, right? You're hosting another playoff game before quarterfinals and kind of that coin flip. So they got to come in there ready, and they got to lean on Towns, running the football, getting downhill, and the offensive line got to create those gaps and those creases where he can kind of, bounce it outside and hit those holes and allow him to kind of do his thing. So if you come in this game, you love it. You want to be able to establish a tempo, right? You want to establish a rhythm with the offense. You want to be able to play a little bit of ball control and be able to lean on Towns a little bit to kind of lead you. But I think Central Carrollton is just a little too talented. I think they're going to lean on that. Gicari Harris, Jonas Walton, they're just tough to beat, man. And they got a really good receiving corps as well. So I think they continue advancing. I think they move to 12-0 in this game. The Norfolk Coney Cedartown one, it's an interesting one. I didn't put a prediction, but I would have to say I'll go with Norfolk Coney. I think that environment too. And Craig always brings up a great point. They're just one of those teams that year in, year out, their head coach does a phenomenal job. And they are brewing some talent over there. If you didn't see our show on Tuesday, Underrated Overlooked, we talked about the outstanding freshman Khalil Barnes, who's getting significant playing time at Clemson as a freshman. So that goes to show you that Norfolk Coney is, one, preparing their kids to be able to ready to play as a freshman for a Power 5 story program. And then, two, they got the talent there that's brewing there, and they're good every single year. So I think this is their game. This is their year, so it's going to be interesting down the stretch. But that's my thoughts on those two matchups. The next one I want to talk about is Perry and Bainbridge, right? I think this is a really interesting one. Bainbridge can run the ball really, really well with the running back. Perry is a team not a lot of people talk about, but are having a really, really great year. Ahmad Gordon in their playoff win scored 3 touchdowns in the final 18 minutes. He actually made my standout performers list from the playoffs. I mean, that's phenomenal. He's been having a great season so far, right? 1,381 yards rushing and 26 touchdowns. And then third-rate Bainbridge, they built a 28-0 second quarter lead and rolled past Trinity Christian 49-14. Don't see that every day. Trinity Christian, a battle testing, really good team in that tough region with Stars Mill, Stars Mill, Bainbridge, LaGrange, really tough region, Troop as well. So I think that's really, really interesting. 2 players to watch for: Keenan Phillips, heavily recruited player, 3-star player, and then Tavius Murphy. They both scored 3 touchdowns each in that game. So coming into this one, I think for Perry, they're going to have to be kind of aware of that. They're going to have to try to slow down that run because they can throttle you with the run. They got 2 guys, and they can keep them fresh. That's the key, I think, when it comes to postseason time. When it gets cold and it's the cold weather, right, how deep are you at running back? Because sometimes you might have a guy that gets a little gassed, right, playing both sides of the ball. Do you have another guy that you can bring in and kind of come in and do the work? I think they have that in that running game with Keenan Phillips and Tavius Murphy. So that's going to be something interesting as well. Okay, hold on, guys. Just got a text from Grayson head coach. Okay, so just texted me, guys, said he will be available in about 15 to 20 minutes. So we're going to keep him on standby for that. So probably going to be in the second segment of our show. All right, so that's 4A. Now we're going to break down 3A, and then that's when we'll take a break and probably be joined by head coach Geoffrey Pierce. All right, so 3A. I'm actually interested, and I got to give a shout-out as a guy that had a comment on our YouTube. And I just want to say, guys, first off, I want to thank Craig, because Craig's the only one that I see consistently talks about our YouTube channel, talks about subscribing to it and all the great content we have. So I want to give a special shout-out to him. But we got some great comments this week, and I really want to talk about it. We've been getting some subscribers. It's been going pretty good, but this guy is Georgia's Best. He recently replied, and in the comment section, he said, "Would love for you guys to talk a little bit more about 3A." So today we're talking about 3A. He said they have some great players out at Stevens County, and I'm going to break down that matchup. I did my research, so I'm ready to go on that. But Javin Gordon, Aiden Butts, wide receiver Jacek Smith, and outside linebacker Santana Smith, he said, were some really, really good players for him. So I just asked him what some topics he wants to talk about. Stevens County and 3A, they actually are 10-1, guys. We're not talking about them, but we're going to talk about them today. So wanted to give him some love, want to give him a shout out for the comments, and also Kerry Claiborne as well, always tuning in. And of course, Jimmy Cass. Jimmy, if you're watching today, we are going to be talking about those Carver Columbus Tigers. So you strap your seat in and watch this talk right here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with Carver Columbus. Let's start there. Okay, so they play Upson Lee, right? Now, Upson Lee had a really good playoff game to start, right? They had Nico Wells. They were down by 23-plus points, and he ushered a comeback, right? And he was 25 for 38, right? 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, and he also ran for 51 yards and a touchdown. So, when I look at that stat line, I look at, okay, coming into this game, right, no lead is safe against Upson Lee, right? This is a team that's going to battle. They have a really good schedule they play. They're 9-2 on the season. So if you give them any kind of momentum, that could go against you. And you guys don't know, like, football is a momentum game, right? Any sliver of momentum, a touchdown pass, an interception, that can swing the momentum in any direction. So I think that's key in this game. And also their senior tailback, I can't sleep on him. He's been playing really, really well, right? Jaquan Brantley, 1,397 yards and 20 touchdowns. So they can run it and they can pass it with Nico Wells. I think that makes them a dynamic 1-2 punch. And the good thing about Wells is he's young. He's only a sophomore. He's gaining experience. He's playing in these big playoff games. That's going to be monumental for him going forward, especially building with this team. He won't have Jaquan Brantley next year, but he's building some really great momentum going into next season. So I think that's interesting. QB's playing at another level. And then, like I said, my biggest takeaway, you cannot sleep on the lead with this team. Even if you're up 20, 21, they've showed already in the first round of playoffs they can usher a comeback. So do not give them any momentum. Then for Carver Columbus, I haven't talked about him a lot this season, but Deontay Childs, right, having a great year, 1,522 yards and 12 touchdowns. He's been dynamic in the open space, right? They've been doing a good job in the offensive line, creating holes and gaps for him. He's been playing really, really well. This kid is averaging 152 points per game. So that goes to show me, like, that offensive line, one, is doing their job. They're winning their battle in the trenches. And then, two, he's doing a good job of hitting the gaps, good vision, and using his speed in order to score. I mean, he's having a phenomenal season. And they got to give some love to their quarterback as well, Jacoby Hunter, also stepping up, right? He's been efficient, 63% completion percentage this year, 10 touchdowns, don't turn over a lot, only 4 interceptions this season. So I think that's the cool part about this team, too. If you go look at the stats, you look at the film, right? Hunter's not focusing in on one receiver, right? They're distributing the ball, right? They're hitting multiple receivers. No guy I think has over 400-plus yards this season, right? So they're doing a good job distributing the football, hitting all the receivers, and it's not just, okay, one guy has 1,000 yards, the rest has 200 to 300. Everybody's getting a touch in this offense for Carver Columbus. So I think that's key. I think we got to keep note of that as well. So the key, though, is going to be these defensive players. These are some high-powered offenses, right? Upson Lee, they got 2 guys that have 3 interceptions apiece, and Michael Foster and then Nitravian Jones, right? So they're ball hawks. So they're going to have to protect the ball offensively. Hunter's been doing a good job of that, but he's going to have to be very cognizant of that coming into this game, right? Don't lead the ball too far inside, right? Be careful on those corner route throws. If it's too far inside, that could be a pick 6. So it's things he got to be aware of in the passing game coming into this game as well. And then Courtney Kelly also has 12 sacks, the senior, and Tristan Givens has 10 sacks as only a sophomore. So Carver Columbus can get after you with rushing the passer. That's 22 sacks between both of them, right? And they force a lot of turnovers. So think about it. Get a lot of sacks, and they also have 15 interceptions this season, right? 3 guys on this team has multiple interceptions. So they could do a lot, right? And I think that's going to be key in this game as well. Nico Wells is going to have to be very, very careful with the same thing, how he throws the ball as well, because this is a team that can get after the rusher. Sometimes in these big playoff games, mistakes are magnified, right? You can't go and, sometimes you're going to have negative plays, but you can't go and exacerbate that, right? You can't go, okay, hey, there's nothing there. I'm going to keep it alive, and I'm going to throw a late throw over the middle of the field, and then it's going to be intercepted. So you got to think about that coming into this game. Just take the negative play, throw it out of bounds. Like, you got that option as well. You can also go if nothing's there. If you want to run and slide, you could do that as well. So that's going to be key in this game. I want to see in this one who's going to be able to make the stops when it matters most. Who's going to be able to create pressures. Who's going to be able to cause turnovers. That's key because both of these teams have high-power offenses. And I think no lead is safe. So it's going to be an intriguing matchup. But nonetheless, I'm rolling with Carver Columbus in that one for a big win. But I think it'll be interesting between those two teams, okay? And then real quick, just going to touch on this a little bit. Chris County, Mary Parsons, they already beat a really good talented team already this year in Prince Avenue Christian. So I think the key is, though, Duke Watson, right? Louisville commit, runs the ball really, really well. They're going to have to key in on him, try to shut down that run. Excuse me, their defensive front is going to have a good game, right? That's the key in that one. Got to have a good game on the defensive front side if they want to have a chance for Chris County. The next one that's caught my eye, Wesleyan and Stevens County, right? This is so interesting because Stevens County, they're 10-1, right? And I think the thing is, we've been talking about it. We're like, okay, hey, we're not impressed with Cedar Grove because they barely got by Hebron Christian. Peep this, though. Maybe we should look a little bit more into how good Hebron Christian was, right? Stevens County, that's their only loss this season, and they pummeled them, 37-6. You know what I'm saying? So maybe Hebron Christian's a little bit better than what we think, right? That's number one. Number two, the defense for Stevens County is humming, right? So far this year, 3 shutouts, 6 of their opponents have scored less than 10 points, right? So they bought in defensively, and they don't allow you to really score on them. So I think that's key in this one, especially with the passing attack and what Wesleyan has. We'll talk about it in just a second. But Aiden Butts doing it yet again. Got to give him some love. Got to give him a clap up, right? 2 consecutive seasons of producing 10-plus sacks. It's one of the most underrated kids that doesn't get a lot of love and talked about. But peep this. They got 3 guys on this team that have 9 or more sacks. That includes Dawson Childs, who has 9, Solomon Dupree, who has 11, and then Aiden Butts with 10. They have a total of 43 sacks as a team. So that's telling me that defensive front is good, right? They're getting after you, they're pressuring you, they're stopping the run, and they're making life hell for your quarterback. That's what they're doing. So, coming into this game, Wesleyan has to protect, right? They got to protect their quarterback, especially with this offense being more predicated on throwing the football, right? Getting the ball out, getting the ball to the playmakers. That is going to be key because if not, they can get after you defensively. Now, going offensively for Stevens County, they can run the rock. Javin Gordon's having a phenomenal season. He's been special this season. He should make an all-state list if he hasn't already, especially an all-region list if he doesn't make all-state. 1,530 yards and 20 touchdowns. Now, that's explosive, right? That's getting it done. That's playing at a high level, right? Doesn't get a lot of love, but playing really well. And remember earlier in the season, we talked about how physical Carver Atlanta was, right? And how they fly around to the football and their front's really good. In their playoff opener, he rushed for 197 yards and 3 touchdowns against that same Carver Atlanta team, right? So I think that says a lot. I think that shows really how good he is going up against a good front. They didn't have the best record this year, right? But think about it. They played a tough schedule. They played the Bufords of the world. They had to go through that region of Sandy Creek, Douglas, Atlanta, and Cedar Grove, right? But that's still a really good defense. So I think that says a lot about Javin Gordon, and they can run the ball. So I know Wesleyan coming into this game, they're like, okay, we got to slow down Javin Gordon. But he's going to be key in this one. If he has another one of them big nights, look out. Stevens County could be good. Now, let's talk about Wesleyan. Again, a passing attack offense. Ben Brown has been having a phenomenal season. No one's talking about him. Last game in their playoff opener, 69% completion percentage, 295 yards, and 3 touchdowns in their win, right? That was against Ring Gold, okay? So he was very, very, very special. Okay, hold on 1 second. Before I conclude, Craig, you do me a favor? Let's go to break real quick.
Okay.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
your thing. We've got you covered.
Okay, my apologies, guys. We're trying to get on Grayson, head coach for basketball. We'll see if we get him in. If not, we're going to do a voice call in just a moment. But I'm going to wrap up my final point on the Wesleyan matchup. Again, Ben Brown, big-time year so far this year. Underrated. 2,734 yards, 35 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions. 8-3 record. Really dominant team so far this year. 8-3. And guess what? They got some players that can play too. We don't talk about them enough, but Jamie Trimble, right? 4-star prospect, committed to Syracuse. He's been having a phenomenal season. And they also got Shepard Jones. So, again, this is a more of a passing-oriented offense. Ben Brown has been doing his thing as a junior. He's building a lot of good experience. It's going to be tough against Stevens County. We talked about how good they are rushing the passer, getting after it with those 3 guys. So, I want to see, can their offensive line protect? And will the defense come to play yet again? Because the defense has been phenomenal all season. Again, 3 shutouts, held 6 teams to under 10 points. So they have been doing their thing. So that's going to be an incredible matchup between those teams. Jamie Trimble last game went off for 6 catches for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they have a schedule that they've played that's been great. North Cobb Christian, Gilmer, and White County so far this season. So that's the matchup. I'm going to roll with Stevens County, but it should be a good one between both of these teams as well. And then the next one, I'm going to touch on this one real quick. Thomasville Cavalry Day, right? Thomasville sophomore Cam Hill has been having a good season, right? 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, threw for 240 yards on an 80% completion percentage, right? Very, very efficient. And then Ant Anderson was my standout performer from last week, 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think offensively to beat Cavalry Day, you're going to need big plays, right? You're going to need splash plays because Jake Merklinger, he can throw it downfield. I didn't see Thomas Blackshear or Michael Smith in the box score, right? So I don't know if they're hurt or not, but I know those are dynamic weapons for the team. Maybe they were injured in late in the season and missed the first round, but still, nonetheless, Merklinger was 13 for 13 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that goes to show you this is a high-powered offense. They can attack you in a lot of ways. So it's going to be important for Thomasville to come in here with Cam Hill, with Ant Anderson, play a little bit of ball control, right? Get some big splash plays, control the game. That's the only chance I think you got. And the thing for Cavalry Day, they haven't really been challenged a lot, right? Their biggest challenge was Savannah Christian, who's one of their rivals, early in the game, right? But they pulled away. All their games have been double-digit wins. Have not been tested so far. Cavalry Day hasn't. So we will see how that looks going forward, especially with big-time showdowns coming up in the quarterfinals and the semifinals and things like that. So I think that's an interesting matchup as well between those 2 teams. All right, I think we got one more before we wrap this up, this 3A. And then that's going to be Cedar Grove versus Bremen. Now, Bremen is a team that can run the ball really, really well, right? Really good offensive line. Last week, they ran for 6 touchdowns, right? So I think it's an interesting kind of matchup between that offensive line and a stout defensive front for Cedar Grove. We know how good the defensive line has been for years. A lot of D1 prospects has come through there. Adonijah Green, right? Cedar Grove is a team that beats you in the trenches, right? And then they have a dynamic playmakers on the outside and an elite quarterback in E.J. Colson, right? So I think it's interesting to see that defensive line against their offensive line because we know Bremen wants to run the football. So that's kind of my matchup I've got circled that I'm kind of looking out for, see who kind of comes out on top. And we know Cedar Grove, right? A lot of people are worried about them, haven't had a great year, but look at their schedule, right? Colquitt County, Mill Creek, Collins Hill, Carver Montgomery, Dutchtown, Westlake. Pretty much all of those teams are still in the playoffs right now, second round, okay? So they've played a tough schedule. Have they looked dominant? No. Has their defense struggled this season? Yes. But I still believe in E.J. Colson. I believe in the playmakers and Devin Carter, who's the outstanding 4-star player going to Florida State. He's a legacy kid for his dad, Dexter Carter. I believe in him. I believe in Bo Walker, who's the UGA commit. What Cedar Grove is going to do is they're going to take what you give them, right? If you are going to give them the running game and you're going to play the pass against Colson and Carter, they're going to throttle you with the run with Bo Walker, right? And their other rushers as well. They got like 3 or 4 guys they rotate in after Bo Walker that can come in and step up big time, right? And then if you load the box, EJ Colson can beat you over the top, and they can set up big plays that way as well. So it's almost like a pick your poison. They're hard to beat. You have to throw a lot of different coverages. You got to kind of have to do it like a Rolodex, right? You can't just run cover 3 all day. You can't run no cover 4 all day. You have to switch it up. You can't just run man. You got to throw different looks all around. That's how astute EJ Colson is and that offense is and how it's run. So you got to kind of have a bunch of different things that you throw at them to confuse. You got to disguise some coverages. You can, roll a blitz and then drop into a cover 3. You got to just make it tough for them. You got to throw him different looks if you want to make it a difficult game. But nonetheless, I think that they're going to advance on. Again, we got to get some love to Hebron Christian. They made the game tough, but they're a really good team. I think Cedar Grove comes out on top and wins that game. So look out for that. And the final one is Monroe area against Gilmer. They got a big-time win against a highly favored, great offense in Sandy Creek. Darion Manuel's been having a phenomenal year, 1,523 yards and 13 touchdowns. Been electric in the open field all season long, right? So you got him offensively. The thing that worries me with Monroe area is the rushing defense, right? Against Sandy Creek, gave up 2 100-yard rushers, Amari Latimer, and then Dalen Penton, who's their quarterback, right? 315 yards is a lot, right? And that's what Gilmer wants to do. Gilmer wants to run the football. That offense is predicated on running the football. They only had 3 passing attempts in their last game and 1. So they want to do the same thing. So this is the battle of the offensive lines and the running game in this game as well against both of them. And they got 2 guys they could throw at you, right? Isaac Rellinger and Wyatt Stokes. Both combined for over 200 yards. As a team, rushed for 314 yards. So it's kind of the same story. You give up 315. This team put up 314 against their first-round opponent against Adairsville. So will their defense be ready to play and stop, the Russian attack, fill those gaps, 11 hats to the football? I think that's an intriguing test between both teams. It would be interesting. Both had some big first-round victories, especially for Monroe area. But they're going to have to be able to slow down and run if they want to have a chance. That is the key in this one. I think it'll be a high-scoring game between both. I think it's kind of be a case of who has the ball last will kind of come out on top. So we will see. All right. I think this is Coach right now. Hold on, guys. I'm going to try to bring him on. Hey, Coach.
Yeah, I think I'm in. It didn't kick me out this time on my laptop.
Okay. Don't see him? Okay. All right, Coach. So I'm going to call you on a voice call, and then we're going to do it that way and just kind of talk about the season and everything. Yeah, I'm going to just call you back. I know we're on FaceTime now. I'm going to just call you back, and then we just talk that way.
All right, so you need me to step outside?
I mean, if you want to, or you can stay in there.
Wi-Fi in my office for FaceTime. That's what I was asking. You said you're just going to do a regular phone call?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me a minute. Can I call you?
If you want, sure.
All right, give me a minute to get outside, and then I'll call you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys. Trying to coordinate that in. So he'll be here in just a second. He's going to give me a call, and then we're going to bring him right on. But let's preview Grayson real quick. They've been having a phenomenal season. Again, they're my favorite in 7A. Actually, I got to take a look at our rankings real quick as well. I got to see if Craig, he is responsible. I'm calling him out. He's responsible for the boys ranking. So let's see how he got it ranked this week before we bring on the head coach. Okay. Wow, Craig, you still have McEachern 1.
No, there's no way.
Yes. Yeah, November 15th. Okay, so.
That's a typo.
But coming into the season, I was really high on Grayson with just all the talent they have, right? I think this is the year that they are able to win it. No disrespect to the other teams, right? McEachern's going to be good. Craig says it's a typo. And then, Wheeler's going to be good this year. They're young, right? They got to step up to play. Burkmart, Makai Ragland, really great player, right? He's going to be one to watch this season as well. Newton. Their younger team, the JV team, did a really outstanding job this season, right? Being able to kind of, win it, but all their talent's gone, right? No Ja'Kai Newton, no Stephon Castle, right? These guys are gone, so now they're going to need other guys to come in and really step up for the program, right? Walton, really dynamic backcourt. Luke Flynn, got some guys that can really hoop and ball. Milton, right, lost last night. It's one of the guys that's going to be on my top 10 headlines for the game he had against the scrimmage against McDonough. So they got to go backcourt and front court with their head coach. We're going to try to bring him on later in the year. Norcross, 0-2 right now, but talked to head coach Mack. He said it's going to take some time for it to gel and kind of go together, right? So many young players graduated, 5 of their seniors. it's going to take some time. Jerron Salisbury stepping up in a big way. And Coach talked about how he thinks it could potentially be the best defender he's ever coached. That's saying a lot. This is a team that's been a perennial powerhouse, right? Players have went to the NBA and been successful. So I think that says a lot about Salisbury. But they got only returning starter is Toby Ajokwu, who's their guard, their point guard. So that says a lot too. And then Carrollton and Osborne. Osborne has a Kai Fleming. So I just think Grayson has so much talent. They're deep. They got guys that can rotate in. And they just got different ways they can hit you. Jacob Wilkins, Amir Taylor, like he's taking another step forward. Their 4-star combo guard, Gicari Harris, CJ Highland. They have a lot of talent, man. I think they're going to be really, really special this year. So that's how Craig got it. He said it's a typo.
Refresh.
Okay, he said hit refresh. So I think he edited it, but it has great. Okay, with the refresh, Grayson is 1 and McEachern 2. So Grayson got another big one this weekend. They play Woodward Academy, who is number 2 in the rankings on ScoreATL.com. Obviously, Alexander is their favorite. They're defending state champion as well. Riverwood has J.R. Leonard. They're gonna be the top team this season. Jonesboro at 4, St. Pius 5, Shiloh 6, Hughes 7, Lanier 8, South Paulding 9, and Lakeside Evans is 10. But I think they're going to be a special program, man, and I really want to find out how this team looks this year, what the kind of was said. They came up a little bit short against Wheeler, but, I mean, that's a tough team, and I don't think anybody in the state of Georgia beat Wheeler last year. And I just go to show they had the number 1 player in the country, Isaiah Collier. He's balling out at USC, having a big-time impact on the team this year. Harrison Page is there as well, right? So they had a really good team, phenomenal coach. I think that was just their year. I'm getting in the same kind of feeling with Grayson this year. I just think all the talent they have, I think it's their year, and I think they're going to show a lot of people that they are going to make a deep run. And I really think so. They got a tough schedule, but they're going to be a lot of fun to definitely talk about. So we're going to stay, on standby for that with the head coach and try to get him on here pretty shortly. So we're going to keep rolling. Let's talk real quick just about a couple of the matchups this weekend at the Tip-Off Classic. On the Radar Classic at Norcross High School. I think the Lanier Parkview game is pretty interesting, right? Lanier made a Final Four last season in 6A. They finished with an outstanding 26-5 record, right? One of the best finishes in program history. Returning the majority of their starters. They got Tahai Morgan, Cameron Thornton, and Amari Morgan as well. So, and then they also added DeAndre Cohen from Notre Dame Academy. He's a preseason All-State selection now on their team as well. Cohen is a combo guard, create off the balance, and stretch the floor as well. So I think that's going to be really interesting as well. And then Parkview, return a lot of their guards, right? Chase Holmes, Jonathan LaRose, and then Anthony McFarland. So I think that is intriguing as well to kind of watch for with that group and that team and see kind of who's able to kind of carry the scoring load this year as well. And then Walnut Grove is another interesting team, right? Made it to the second round of the playoffs. They're going to play Pebblebrook in the first round matchup. Pebblebrook has had a lot of really great players that have gone on to do great things, made the G League teams, made the NBA. Colin Sexton's one of their notable graduates who's doing some great things right now, plays for Utah Jazz. But Walnut Grove is really interesting, right? They made it to the second round of the 4A playoffs last season before losing to eventual state champion Pace Academy. Got some dominant guard play. I think the thing that's interesting with them is their ability. They play up-tempo basketball, so they're looking to push. They're looking to get to the cup, looking to get easy buckets. And then their dominant guards you should definitely watch for this year. It's going to be point guard Marcus Smith the second leader scorer in the Warriors' season opener win against Lanier, who we talked about a little bit earlier. 21 points he had. And also they got Tyler Jewell and Chase Rue. Chase Rue had 24 points in the season opener win. He just transferred over from Meadow Creek. So I think that's intriguing as well. They got a lot of good guard play. They're a little bit smaller on the front court, but they got guys that's looking to get out to break and push the tempo. And then on the other side, you got Max McNeil and Caleb Thomas for Pebblebrook, 2 guards who are very talented. They start 0-2, but guess who they played the first 2 games for Pebblebrook? Shadow Creek, Texas, and Duncanville, Texas. And actually, their outstanding forward, Trey Johnson, just committed to Texas. So that's a tough gauntlet of a schedule, right? And then it gets no easier going up against Walnut Grove as well. They actually got a game at home on Friday against Hillgrove before playing Walnut Grove. So they're going to be 3 games in before this matchup even starts. So that's an interesting classic. We're going to go more in detail with the top 10 headlines about some more of the other matchups to kind of watch out for. But as we wait for Coach. I would do a tell the tape, but I'm going to kind of hold out. I don't want to be in the middle and then he calls. So for the moment right now, we're just going to talk about a couple more of the matchups, just ones that stand out to me before we actually bring him on. So let's see. Okay, so I think the Peachtree Ridge Mill Creek game is interesting, right? Especially with what Craig pointed out, Miles Abernathy not playing in their first game, right? Him being injured, and them still having a good game against Lambert. Lambert again is a great team this year, right? Their head coach Mark Beach does a good job. Really interesting program. I think that just says a testament of just how good they are overall, right? They got a lot of depth. Lamar White, Ra Thomas. Defensively, Dorian Barney, right? He's another player that just this outstanding 4-star player for 2026 class. But I think it's interesting, right? Mill Creek is a team that's just been steady, right? Steady all season long. And Coach Josh Lovelady and their offense has been doing a magnificent job. And you wouldn't think they would be in this position. And it's because they lost so much, right? You lose Jamal Anderson, you lose Caleb Downs, you lose your senior quarterback, Hayden Clark, you lose Mikael Wood, you lose Brendan Jenkins, but they're right back where they were, right? They're playing good football, right? They can run the ball with Cam Robinson, who's an underrated player, right? It just seems like whenever it's a big game, he always comes up big, right? Shane Throckmorton, the recently donned 4-star, has been having a steady year for Mill Creek, right? Trajan Greco playing both sides. He's been a weapon in the passing game this year, right? And then defensively, they do a lot of things well, right? They're athletic. They get after the passer. Luke Metz is having a good season for them. He's starting to blow up in recruiting. So I just think they got a lot of ways they can beat you. And this game is not going to be easy. And I think the key for Peachtree Ridge in studying them is that they can't turn over the football. You can't turn over the football in this game. You don't want to allow Mill Creek to get a lead because they're kind of one of those teams like they can throw it, but they also can run it with Cam Robinson. They can really milk the clock on you. Like I remember seeing one drive, like they just had a long drive, went down and scored, went up against Buford, like 31-24. And they took off so much time from the clock and just milked the clock, steady first downs. Like, this is not a team that, obviously, they can get big plays, but they're a team that could just grind you out, right? That's the Mill Creek Hawks. They can grind you out and really just push you against your will, get you tired, hands on your hips, breathing hard. Like, that's this kind of team, right? They're going to beat you in the trenches, right? So, if you're Peachtree Ridge, like, you want to have a good start. You do not want to fall behind in this game. Right, you want to just do some good things well. You want to be able to try to pressure the passer, right? Play good coverage. You got a corner that can do that in Dorian Barney. So I think this is an interesting game between both. Big spot for Darnell Kelly, right? He's been kind of blowing up as well in recruiting. A lot of people are high on Kelly. I am as well. But this is one of those games that's tough, and it's going to be a great experience builder for him, regardless of the outcome, just going into his junior season. And this is a special class they got in 2026. So I think it's going to be intriguing. Can't wait to see who comes out on top. Really great players. And another player to watch for Mill Creek is Jaden Patterson. He's been having an outstanding season as well for Mill Creek. So he's been doing a lot of things and has been playing great. All right. So that's one of the matchups. Another one that kind of stands out to me is the rematch of Collins Hill and Milton. We're going to talk about AJ Benton's tape in a little bit after the interview. But this is the second matchup. And we talked about it a little bit on Tuesday. But I think it's interesting to see just the job that Coach Swick is doing, right? Not a lot of people gave Collins Hill a chance, right? They made out that tough region. They were competitive. And, they went in and on the road and beat a really good North Cobb team, right? And they did it with Cam Jones, right? And they did it with TJ Wilcox, who Craig really gave his praise to on Tuesday. Just 10 for 13, 240 yards, a couple touchdowns. I think that's key. And if he can continue to ascend the way he's ascending, I think that's big for them going forward. Now, it's not gonna be easy, right? You're going to Milton, right? And that's a team that has state championship aspirations, right? And they have a deep roster, phenomenal group, great head coach and Coach Reed. Love what he's doing with the program. They got a star quarterback in Luke Nickel. That's Miami commit. They got Ryan Gia, who they don't really ask to do a lot of, but he does a phenomenal job. So that's going to be an interesting matchup between those two. But I think we got head coach on, so let's go ahead and talk to him a little bit. Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Pierce.
Hey, Coach.
I'm calling from a landline.
Got you. Appreciate you, Coach. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good. I can't complain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Coach. I just wanted to talk about your program and feature you. I know I had you on the show last year, and, I mean, you guys are doing an outstanding job. I know it's only one game in, but just talk a little bit about, Coach, about that atmosphere at McEachern, going in there in that tournament and, you know, handling your business, playing, you know, a good team that has championship aspirations as does yourself. Just going against them. How was the atmosphere?
Oh, it was a great atmosphere. The energy was definitely in the building. You know, we've got a pretty veteran group though, so it's nothing they haven't seen before. I think they actually relished the opportunity to go in there and perform at the level that they did.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, talk a little bit about just how the fall camp was. You know, prior to the season, you guys played Wheeler in the semifinals last year. Just came up a little bit short. But what was just kind of your message there just about this team and some things you want to accomplish? And how did that kind of, you know, help your team going into the season and kind of fuel them and get ready?
Yeah, so just the whole off season, man, we just been focusing on, you know, just trying to get better every day, and, you know, just the little things. We had a lot of turnovers in that game against Wheeler, so we've just been trying to emphasize, you know, taking care of the ball and getting good shots, things of that nature. But, you know, the guys are definitely working hard. They understand that's the only way you're gonna get better is by, you know, working as hard as you can, you know, every day to build good habits and, you know, improve your craft.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, I want to talk about player. I know other players are definitely going to get more kind of the exposure, especially with Gicari Harris. But I want to start with Amir Taylor, a player that stood out to me. I know he kind of had an increased role for you last year. He looks like he just gets what he's supposed to do. Look like he knows the game. Look, he's improved a lot. Just talk about him in terms of just growth and what you've seen from him from sophomore year to now junior year and being a part of this team.
Yeah, Amir, he's got very high basketball IQ. If he's not one of the most, you know, skilled basketball players I've coached, he's near the top of the list. Like he can do pretty much anything you need a basketball player to do on the court. He was kind of his freshman year, you know, he was in a reserve role, was going to split time on JV, and then I don't know if you remember Chad Moody last year. Chad's junior year, he broke his arm the first quarter of the game, first game of the season. We was in Texas, and, you know, we slid Amir in, and, you know, he's been starting ever since. So, you know, we do individual meetings with our players every month, and, you know, the last meeting we had with Amir was just like, you know, we're treating you like a senior. You're basically, you know, you've been starting since you were a freshman. So, you know, we're going to treat you like a senior and expect you to, you know, be more consistent with your play and your effort from day to day, just because, you know, you're one of the leaders of the team now. So, you know, he definitely responded to that. He had a really good game against McEachern, I thought.
Yes, sir, certainly. And then I want to talk about just Gicari Harris. Obviously, everybody's going to talk about just high-level basketball IQ, how great of a player he is. But, Coach, I want to go back. You've been coaching this kid since he was, you know, freshman, coming into the program. What have you seen from him in terms of just his growth of when he started with you, Coach, to compare to the level of his game compared to now?
So, you know, nowadays, man, folks just come in as freshmen and they expect to, you know, play or start without earning anything. But, you know, he came in from day one and was a very hard worker, and he understood, because, you know, on that team we had Ian Shefflin, Tajay Kelly, Chauncey Wiggins, Tyrese was on the team. So we had a lot of firepower on that team. He learned early on, you know, if he could defend at a high level, he was going to play. So, you know, he got a lot of minutes for us as a freshman, and then, you know, as a starter his sophomore year, you know, his role just increased. But he's done a good job every season or every off season, you know, assessing what he needs to do to get better as a basketball player. Like, you know, it's real, with Gicari, it's purposeful, right? Like we'll meet, you know, you need to work on X, Y, and Z, and it's like, okay, coach, I got you. And then he comes back, you know, not even in August, like we'll meet about that in March. He'll come back in June, and you can tell he's worked on it, you know what I mean? Or, you know, he's like I said, he's real purposeful in everything he does. Like, even if you conduct a workout with him, you know, he'll ask questions about, like, well, what can we do to work on this, right? So, you know, every season he's added something to his game. But, you know, the thing about Gicari that makes him special, he kind of views each game as a single entity, right? Like, he comes into the game, heading into the game, you know, he has a pretty good idea of what he needs to give us to win a basketball game, and during the course of the game, if that changes, he adjusts, right? So there might be some games we need 20 points from him. It might be a game where we need 12 rebounds from him. It might be a game where he needs to get, you know, 8-10 assists. It might be a game where, okay, I need to focus on defending this guy. Like, he's just really good at doing that, because all he really cares about is winning at the end of the day. Like, he's a winner. He wants to be remembered as a winner when he leaves high school.
Yes, sir. And Coach, one more player I want to hit on is obviously Jacob Wilkins, the 4-star player for you, committed to Georgia. But I know when you have guys come in, sometimes, you know, it'd be hard to kind of find the role and kind of carve the role in the team. And I know basketball, it's a team game, right? It's not all about just me. But guys fitting and buying into a role. So just talk about the role. I know it's just one game in, but just talk about the role he's going to kind of have for your team this season, and talk about just kind of the new element he's kind of added to your group. Seems like he's very athletic, can get to the rim, can shoot as well, but just talk about the element he's added to kind of the team this year.
Yeah, Jake's really competitive. I think that's a welcome addition to the team. Like, he's very competitive. He super athletic, can shoot it. I think he's an underrated passer. Good rebounder when he's engaged. I think he's like, it's gonna be like, we return 4 starters, so they kind of understand where to get their shots from and all that. I think with Jake, we're just really seeing, you know, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to, you know, what he can do for us this season. He's a good defender. He's still, like, he's figuring it out on the fly as well. You know, he had a summer with us, but, you know, he's gonna be a kid who gets better as the season progresses, just because he's gonna work, and he really cares about winning.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, I want to talk about you real quick. Just, I was looking through and trying to do my research, just trying to see if you ever had not had a 21 season in your career at Grayson. So I want to actually first have you.
Yeah, our first season here, we were 13-13. Which, believe it or not, was a school record for wins. So, like, everybody was all up in arms about the 13 wins, but, you know, the rest of us were like, yo, we gotta get better. But it's been good, man. Grayson's been good to me these past 10, 11 years. You know, I live out here, but you know, much respect and much credit to, you know, my assistant coaches, you know, present and in the past, and then, you know, all the players that have put on that jersey. You know, they've all come in and bought in, and, you know, sacrificed a lot to, you know, help get the program to where it is today. It wasn't always like this.
Yeah, Coach, I want to just revisit that a little bit. You talked about thanking your players and assistant coaches, Coach, but just talk about how tough that is to kind of establish that culture and what you really want out of the team, and then obviously setting that school record when you first started with 13 wins. But since you've had pretty much 21 seasons year in, year out, so just talk about the standard of Grayson and what you expect each year. I know each year you get new players. Sometimes you return starters, sometimes you don't. But just what's the standard at Grayson and what you expect whenever you have a group come in every single year?
So, you know, from day one, from year one, you know, we've just stressed, you know, working as hard as you can at all times and just competing. You know, a lot of these kids, you know, they don't understand once they leave their parents' house, they're going to have to compete for everything they get in life, regardless if it's in athletics or in the business world or whatever profession they try to, you know, get their hands on once they finish with school. Like, even in college, right, everything's a competition. So we just try to stress that, you know, being competitive, taking your matchup personally, and just being willing to put in the work. I mean, it's a lot of man hours, you know. You know, I miss out on some time with my own family, but, you know, this is my family too. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's I guess you know, I mean, it's you know, it's like at the end of the day, like a lot of parents don't understand. Not even just I don't mean Grayson parents. I'm just saying at the end of the day, like most coaches are trying to win games to make it easier for their kids to get recruited. You know what I'm saying? So like when we're making decisions to try to win basketball games, that's what it's all about. But at the same time, you need to have everybody on the same page and willing to put in the work. And again, everybody sacrifices, from the players, the coaches, hell, even the managers. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. You know, we ask the players to do a lot, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's just all about getting better. We're just trying to get better every day. Like even myself, like I know there's things I could do a better job of. So you know, I'm constantly focused on getting better myself, because that helps the program as well.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, I want to talk about this weekend, just the matchup against Woodward Academy. I know they got a really good backcourt, right? They got Brandon Peters, Zach Foster. Just what stands out about that group, and kind of what does your team need to kind of do to kind of come out with a win in that On the Radar's Tip-Off Classic this Saturday?
Yeah, they like you said, they've got a good group. Got a good mixture of experience and youth, which is a good thing. Good guard play. You know, just keys for us, man. We got to take care of the ball. We got to keep the ball in front of us on defense. You know, and take care of business on the glass. I thought we did a good job rebounding this weekend. I think if we can, impose our will defensively and on the backboard, I think we'll come out with a win. And before I forget, I just want to give a shout out to Anthony Austin. He pretty much he had the assignment for Ace Bailey most of the game. Saturday, I thought he did a good job. A casual fan will look at the box score, see Ace had 28, which is great. Ace is a great basketball player, but I think Ant did a good job on him. I think he had like 10 on Ant, and Ant's the guy we put on. Like, he's gonna get the best matchup every night, and he doesn't shy away from it. So shout out to Anthony Austin.
Wow, it's good being able to have one of those players you could put on the best players on the other side of the floor. That was gonna lead me to my next question, but you basically answered that. Well, Coach, a couple more. I'll let you get out of here. One, just do you feel, you mentioned Ant, we've talked about the other four players. Do you feel like this is one of the most talented rosters you've had at Grayson?
I mean, yeah, a super talented group. I think the thing, that's got the potential to carry us this year, like I said, they're all willing to work, and they hang out together, off the court as a group. You can kind of tell with these guys, with the players, right? Not the trainers or the parents or even the coaches, like the players, right? Like you can tell they don't care who's getting touches that night. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all focused on trying to win and do something special as a group, because they know on any given night, their number could be called. It's kind of indicative when you get to the next level. You're playing in college with a bunch of other talented players. Like, what are you doing to influence winning? So I think they're doing a good job right now. All of them, everybody that plays, from the starters to the guys off the bench, they're doing things to contribute to winning without necessarily having to shoot a bunch of shots, which is, it's generic. That isn't something we're having to run them for in practice or nothing like that. They understand, with it being such a veteran group, they kind of understand what it's going to take to, win that last game in March.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, I just want to talk real quick about just your schedule. Just, pretty tough schedule. You still got to play, obviously got Woodward this weekend. Going to have Kell in there, Sandy Creek. But just talk about that kind of holiday schedule. I know you're going to play Dorman, and then you got North Broward Prep. Just kind of talk about that and playing those out-of-state teams and how excited you are for those matchups.
Yeah, from the beginning, right? Like we weren't able to get, we got a very competitive schedule. Like even at the beginning when we couldn't get a bunch of those type of games, right? We were still trying to search out, good teams to play against, just because at the end of the day, like I said, we're trying to win basketball games, and what you do in the tournament stands out. The postseason tournament, whether it's region tournament, state tournament. So everything we do, in regards to our schedule from the beginning of the season to the region tournament is to get ready for postseason play. So yeah, you want to win every game, but we're not going to go out of our way to schedule, you know, not to be disrespectful or anything, but just to schedule games, just to schedule them, or man, we're trying to win this game. Let's schedule this game. Like, nah, we're trying to challenge these guys, you know, every opportunity we can, just to get ready for postseason play. You know, have them face some adversity and face some talented teams and good coaches. So, you know, that's part of what goes into, you know, what we're looking for when we're putting together our non-region schedule, and, you know, showcases and out-of-town games. Like, we got a game against another nationally ranked team at Hoopaw, Perry out of Arizona. They got a kid named Cole Pete, top 5 kid in the country. So, you know, just putting the boys in different situations, trying to make things adverse for them to see, you know, how they climb out of those situations. Like, you know, there's only so much you can do in practice to create, you know, adverse situations for the players to have to go through. You know, they gotta get that in game time as well. So, you know, just trying to make things as challenging as we can, you know, to get ready for postseason play. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. And final question, Coach, let you get out of here. Just talk about just who going to be some of those unsung heroes. I love how you mentioned Anthony Austin and the impact he's going to have this season for you. But who are some guys that, you know, obviously a lot of us don't know about, that's just been coming in every day, been having a big impact, whether that's in practice or just on the team leadership? Just who are some guys we can be able to watch for just this season, just unsung heroes, under the radar guys for the Grayson Rams?
You know, I think Ahmad Clark's gonna have a good season for us. I don't think we talked about CJ a lot on the call, but, you know, if you watch us play, you know, if CJ's able to push the pace and control tempo, you know, we're pretty tough to beat. I thought he did a phenomenal job with that, you know, Saturday against McEachern. And then, you know, kids like Laz Mason, you know, he could probably play a lot more in other situations or whatever, but he's been here since middle school. You know, and he just works hard every day. You know, he's usually, if he doesn't win the sprints, he's top 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a good kid, a hard worker. You know, you got Nate DeMissy, another one, and Irwin. You know, just a couple other seniors that you know, they don't know what type of minutes they're gonna get every night, but, you know, their effort in practice doesn't wane, and that's just another example of, you know, us just preaching sacrifice, because, you know, their effort in practice is needed for us to have success. So, you know, I'm liking where our group is right now mentally. Just hope they continue to, you know, try to get better and not really focus on all the good stuff people are saying about them, because, you know, I tell them all the time, like, as soon as adversity hits, or, you know, we take a loss or whatever, you know, those same folks are going to try to throw dirt on you. So don't do it for publicity. Like, you know, figure out what your why is, why you want to be successful with this game, and just let that motivate you to put in the work.
100%, Coach. Well, just thanks so much time for spending the time to kind of highlight the Grayson program and let me talk to you. I know you're a busy guy, so definitely appreciate it, Coach. Good luck this season. You're one of my favorites to kind of come out. I think you guys got a great group, and you're an outstanding head coach. So once again, just thanks for the time, Coach Pierce, and good luck this season.
Good. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime. Have a good one, Coach.
Okay.
All right, guys, so there goes head coach Pierce. Again, I think that's my favorite in 7A. Had him as a favorite going in. Told my guy Craig, told Bacon as well, that I had them beating McEachern. I just think all around, they're just one of the most talented teams in the state regardless of classification. And they are ranked as high as number 19 in the country according to SportsCenter Next. If you guys don't know what SportsCenter Next is, that is basically the high school account for ESPN. So that goes to show you how great they are. They're the only ranked national team on SportsCenter Next in Georgia. So look out for them. They will be a lot of fun. But we are going to take one more quick break, thank our sponsors, and we're going to conclude on the other side with some Tell of the Tape and top 10 headlines for the weekend.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know.
know. Just take it off.
Safety violation. Unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, welcome back. Thank you guys. Thanks to 5 people that have been watching today. I see I got some comments, so definitely appreciate you guys. Before we talk about the tell of the tape, Georgia's best. You're one of the reasons. You and Jimmy definitely have an elite defense. They're going to be a lot of fun, so I appreciate y'all tuning in for that. And also Jimmy Cash on Carville and Upson Lee. Appreciate you guys. That means a lot, man. Thanks so much. But let's go ahead and get into it. We got tell of the tape. It's time. Going to start with AJ Benton for the Milton Eagles. I'm excited. This kid can play. Doesn't get talked about a lot. We know they got Caleb Bell. We know they got Christian Pancake Hunter, who's going to be playing in the USA Today Top 100 All-American game. And I think he's also going to be playing in the Top Gun Showcase in Florida later this year as well. But him, underrated kid, does a lot of things well. Love his athleticism. You're going to see his relentless pursuit, and he's great at stunts. When I say stunts, a lot of times you'll see it with the defensive tackle and the defensive end. They'll run a stunt. So sometimes, if you guys don't watch football, you got guys that'll come and they'll go just straight forward, right? But then sometimes the defensive coordinator does an outstanding job of running a stunt. So a stunt is you're trying to confuse the left tackle, right? The left tackle and the left guard, right? So what you're trying to do is essentially it's usually with defensive end and defensive tackle. Defensive tackle will roll out that way, and then the defensive end will roll inside, and it will confuse the two because like, oh, where's he going? So those are things that are really outstanding. You're going to see the stunt in this game and how much pressure he put on DJ Bordeaux, who's an outstanding quarterback. But just look at the tape and how he kind of just took over and the big hits that he had the whole entire tape. Let's roll it. All right, that's his head coach, the outstanding coach, Ben Reeves. Okay, here we go right here. Look at him off the edge. You're going to see the versatility as well. Look at him get down low. Nice sack right there, being able to use his ability to kind of rotate down. Here you're going to see the coverage. Nice job reading the quarterback's eyes, getting the pass deflection. Here he is right here, coming downhill. Nice ankle tackle right there. Okay, again, here you see the versatility. Look at him come around, knowing it's a screen. Look at the wrap-up. Boom. Excellent rotation to the football right there. Boom. Here he is again. Quarterback's going to run. Look at this big hit. Boom. Man, almost took his head out right there. So, again, doing a great job with the coverage. That's what they had designed. But look at them see the quarterback getting free and laid a hit right there. Outstanding hit right there. Big, heavy hitter. Know the quarterback felt that one the next morning. Okay, here he is right here. Look at him reading. Get through the block. Big-time tackle for minimal gain right here. Boom. Here it is right here. Okay, this is the stunt. I'm actually have Craig slow this down. This is phenomenally executed and called. Okay, pause that, Craig. So, again, usually you don't see this with a linebacker, right? This is usually stunts like this is seen with the defensive tackle right there in the middle and the defensive end. They'll usually run a stunt. But unroll it for me, Craig. We're going to pause it a couple times so you guys can see the stunt that was called by a defensive coordinator. Outstanding. Okay, here he is right here. Stop it right there. Boom. So he's blocked up right here. Look at this stunt. Now, Caleb Bell, 15, he's going to get past the left tackle right there. And look at him wait for it. Blocked up. Look at that gap open up. And look at AJ Benton get through. Now, Bell doesn't get there, but Benton does a good job of seeing the hole and wrapping up. He's a great wrap-up ability and wrap up DJ Bordeaux right here. Boom. Nice stunt right there. Here's Bell. Bell's going to miss. Look at Benton right here. Nice short tackle. Wraps him up. A near safety. That is textbook play right there. Perfectly executed. Okay, here he is playing middle linebacker right here. The QB design run. Look at him get in there, getting that gap scheme and stuff it up. Excellent job right there. Okay, boom. Look at him go. Look at that pursuit. Excellent right there. Rotating to the football. Here you're going to see a little bit of coverage. Look at him read the screen. Boom. Look at that explosion. Phenomenal. Same thing right here. He's playing a little bit of a wheel. Screenplay. Look at him explode on that. That's North Cobb. Boom. Good job getting to the ball, wrapping them up. Same thing. Screen, boom. Look at that hit. Good wrap-up ability. Excellent right there. Boom. That's the versatility. Boom. That's a negative play right there. Quarterback decides to chuck it away. Great job rushing the passer on that one. Okay, here he is right here. Coverage. Look at him rotate to the football. Love this. Look at that speed. That's a linebacker running like that. Excellent pursuit to the football. Here he is right here. Boom. Look at him blow up that play in the middle. Goodness. Same thing right here. Boom. Look at him read the quarterback's eyes. Look at this explosion. Boom. Heavy hitter, big hitter. Boom. It's against Collins Hill. Right there. Good job. Just gap scheme. Here's right here. Rotating over in coverage. Boom. Nice PBU right there. Excellent job. Here he is at the wheel again. Look at him come down. Look at him get skinny. Boom. Wrap up the ball carrier. Excellent play right there. Boom. Here he is again. Boom. Look at him just bulldoze the running back and get a TFL right there. Excellent job right there. Boom. Same thing. Look at the coverage. Boom. Read the quarterback eyes. A near interception right there. Great job right there. Can tell he's studying his film. Same thing right here. Good job getting skinny in the hole. Not allowing them to get deep. Here he is again at the wheel. Here comes the pressure. Boom. Look at that. He got through 2 people right there, guys. 2 people. Boom. Good job right there. He makes the initial defender miss. Benton's right there to clean it up. Boom. Look at him come downhill. Look at him get skinny. You guys see how skinny he got in the hole? That's excellent right there. Same thing right here. Just good gap control. Makes the first defender miss. Benton's right there to clean it up. Boom. Here's the pressure again. Boom. Here he comes. Same thing right here. Boom. Come off the edge. I'm wrapping you up. Every single time. Boom. Same thing. Here he is right here. Boom. Nice PBU right there. Deflecting the ball. So, again, the standouts to me for him is just his ability to get skinny, right? Being able to create pressure, right? This is going to be key in playoff games, right? Because you're going to have sometimes, you're going to need those negative plays. And I think Benton does a good job of securing the negative play, right? You might have an offense rolling. They're getting it going. They got nothing but first downs on the drive, right? You're going to need a negative play. So he showed me, Benton, that he can create a negative play. It could be a 1st and 10. He can create a 2nd and 17, 2nd and 16, just off of what he can do as far as with his pressure and being able to read what the offense is going to do, whether that's screen plays or getting the ball out quick. He can rotate to the football with his relentless pursuit and get there. I love his athleticism. It's kind of underrated part of his game, but you're seeing it kind of stand out on tape, him being able to get to the football quick, fast, and in a hurry. I think he's great at stunts. I think they should do more of that with him. Obviously, we didn't show his whole tape. That's about 4 minutes of his tape. But I think he's great with stunts. He's a big hitter. Once he gets on you, he's a sure tackler as well. You're going down pretty much every single time. So love that. The versatility, being able to play coverage. You've seen everything on that tape. He can play coverage. He can rush the passer. And you could tell that he can be able to rotate sideline to sideline. I love that. So he can do a little bit of everything, man. So very impressive tape. My standouts, I don't really have a lot of critiques off of that. I say just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully they'll allow you to use you in more pass rush situations, because I think you're very dangerous there. But on that tape, I don't see you really missing tackles. I see you wrapping up well. You have some pretty good moves rushing the passer. So I don't really have a lot of critiques for Benton. I think it's some really good tape, one of the better ones I've seen this year. So give him a shout out there. Outstanding job. Great tape. All right, we got one more player we're going to roll. Stockbridge linebacker Adam Prince. About 4 minutes of tape here. Same thing. Love his ability to get skinny, fit through holes. You're going to see a whole package with him as well. Let's go ahead and roll that tape. All right, here he is right here. Boom, watch number 8. Woo! Big hit right there. Laying the boom. Excellent job right there. Okay, boom. Look at him. Read this. Look at him explode. We're going to rotate that again. Okay, so again, this is a screen out to the left. They're going to read the quarterback's eyes. Okay, I already know what's coming. They're trying to get it out quick. And then look at them explode. Boom. No yardage, minimal gain. That's excellent read right there from Adam Prince. All right, same thing right here. Again, that versatility, right? Being able to get down low. Here he is right here. Get off the block. Boom. Outstanding job right there, being able to get down and skinny. Okay, here he is right here. Going to play a little bit of the middle linebacker. Boom, it's a pitch. Boom, he's right there. Cleans it up. Okay, same thing. About to rush the passer right here. Look at the stunt. Look at him look. Look at this pursuit. Boom. Love it. Love it. No lanes right there. Great job. Here he is right here. Good job coming around the edge, fighting through the block, getting the tackle. Boom. Get off of me, running back. You're too small. Big TFL right there in sack. Same thing. Look at this move he puts on the left tackle. Look at his hands. Boom. Get off me. Does a good hand fight and get off me, running back. I'm too big for you. Big time sack right there. Love that play as well. Same thing. Here he is right here. Boom. Great job reading the read option. No gain for the quarterback. Negative yards right there. Same thing. Boom. Look at him explode. Wrap him up. That's excellent job right there. Boom. Look at that. Craig, roll that back. I got to have you roll that back. This is the most outstanding play I've seen. Look at Prince get skinny against this left tackle, right? Get skinny in between them. One move. Watch the one move he makes and gets into the backfield. Watch this. Boom. That is not easy to do. That's a big left tackle. Get skinny, right past him. Big TFL right there. Here he is again. Look at him secure the edge. Get there, clean it up with his teammate. Excellent job right there. Boom, look at this. Okay, same thing. Roll it back again, Craig, because this is not easy to do too. I want to point this out. That same play right here. Okay. So go ahead, roll it a little bit, Craig, and I'm going to pause it one more time. Okay, boom, right here. So his responsibility here, look how big, it's still a big hole. Look how big of the hole the offense creates. But look at his ability to contain, and that's his job on this play, contain the edge. Look at him take on. Here's the running back right here. Look at him take it on. Look at him prevent the quarterback, who's a nice athlete. If he gets past him, he's going to have a nice game. He's going to be one-on-one with the safety. Look at him take this away. Boom. Look, he's right there. Puts him back inside. Allows the rest to rush to him. That's excellent play right there. That's not easy to do. Boom. Taking on the left tackle. Gets through him. Nice TFL yet again. Here he is again on the edge. Nice hand fighting through two people. Pursues the quarterback yet again. Okay, here he is. Look at him come out of nowhere. Boom. That's not quitting on the play. Great pursuit. Excellent job right there. Okay. Here he is, one-on-one with the left tackle. Boom. Look at that. Woo. Excellent play right there. Okay, right here he's going to be against the right tackle. Boom. Look at that move. Staying home, getting the sack against the quarterback. Excellent. Same thing. It's against Colquitt now. Boom. Good job. Using his hands. Get past the left tackle. Create another game right here. Okay, here he is at the middle linebacker. Look at him. Wait. Boom. Big hit. All right, here he's on the rush. Look at this double team he takes on. Don't matter. Boom. Look at the explosion. There he is. Good wrap up. Minimal gain right there. That's a really good team in Colquitt. Same thing right here. Good job. Look at doing his job. Securing the edge yet again. Not allowing them to get deep. All right, here he is right here. Left end. Good job right there. Just wrapping it up. The ball carrier. Minimal gain yet again. Okay, boom. We're going to wait. Fill the hole. Look at that. Excellent. Now right there is just a big hit. No gain. So you see the tape. His team uses him in a multitude of ways, right? It's not just linebacker, not just Will or the Sam or the middle linebacker. They're using them everywhere, right? They're using them on the left tackle. They're using them on the right tackle. They're using them to cover a little bit. They're using him to bring down. So I think that's going to help him. Yet again, both of the tapes stand out to me, the versatility, because he's showing, okay, hey, and this is what you see in the NFL. You don't see just one player on one side of the field, right? Like, let's think of Micah Parsons, right? He's not lining up just against the left tackle, right? He's lining up at the defensive tackle spot, right, against the right or left guard. He's lining up against the left tackle. He's lining up against the right tackle. So you see it in that tape. There's some of those things there too. Lining up against multiple people, going up against stellar and steep competition, yet he's game-wrecking the game, right? He's coming in. He's securing the edges. He's containing. The read option is a tough play because you don't know if the running back or the quarterback's going to get the ball, and then you're one-on-one with them. So if you don't have the proper gap coverage right there, or you don't contain the edge, then it's going to be easy big play for them, easy touchdown. So he does an excellent job right there of securing the edge and making it tough for him. So I love both of their tapes. They're both outstanding players, in my humble opinion. And I think Adam Prince, is very special, and he does a lot of things well for Stockbridge. And the reason why they're so good, obviously, they got the outstanding running back that's really heavily recruited, that's going to NC State. But he does a lot of things well, explosive, get to the ball, knows his gap schemes, knows how to pressure the quarterback, knows how to wrap up, does a little bit of everything well. So that was what stood out to me, but it is 3:15, so we're going to go and wrap up with the top 10 headlines for the weekend. That's what I got for the Tell the Tapes. All right, let's start with number one. We talked about it at the start. On the Radar Hoops Tip-Off Classic. Also did a story on it, so you can go to scoreatl.com and check out the full article of it. I'm just going to go real quick on it. Just Mount Vernon, Sandy Creek, right? Sandy Creek has an outstanding player who's committed to James Madison and Micah Smith, right? Really great forward battle you can look forward to also in this game. Got to look out for Dennis Scott. That's an outstanding forward. Elite floor stretcher, stands at 6'10", so that could be an intriguing matchup between those two. Sandy Creek comes off their 3A state championship last season, so they have a really great team. Their best finish in school history, outstanding, so that would be a lot of fun to watch. Pace Academy Hughes is also interesting. Pace Academy, a deep roster, really great team, right? Eric Chatfield, Kyle Green, UCF commit. Probably one of the best backcourts in the state regardless of classification. So they're having a good season. They put up 90 on Douglas Atlanta, who's the team that's poised to have a really good season. They put up 90 in their scrimmage, right? And it's actually their first game of the season against Hughes. They both opened the season against each other. So will be really, really interesting between these two teams. Last year, Lexington Hughes came one game short of winning a region championship. Player to watch for is Jerron Lamel. His 6'6", very athletic frame can finish around the basket and is an elite rim protector that can protect shots, alter shots, and also block shots. So that's interesting as well. And Central Gwinnett, Berkmar, that's an interesting one as well. Berkmar, watch out for Makai Ragland. He's been kind of one of those players, 6'10", same thing, elite rim protector, finish around the rim. Right, he's one of their key players. Also, their senior point guard, Geronimo Andu, is another player, sets the tone, big leader for them this year. So watch out for him in that matchup. And then for Central Gwinnett, look out for sophomore Malik Rideout. A lot of people are very high on Rideout, expect him to take a big step forward in 2023. So he's a player to watch. And they also bring a big, powerful trio of guards, right? Rideout, Tim Smith, and Dante Golden. So watch for all of them. They will be key in this game. That's the matchup at 6 p.m. As I talked to head coach for Grayson, again, great team. They got a lot of players that's going to step up. Obviously, Gicari Harris is one to watch in this one. Amir Taylor, he said, thinks he's one of the better players he's probably coached. He's taking some big steps forward, right? We talked about Austin and also Jacob Wilkins, so you got to watch out for them as well. And then Woodward Academy could be one of the better backcourts they face this year, right? Zach Foster, Brandon Peters, they're all really, really good. They just recently won their season opener against Douglas Atlanta, 71-68. And another player to watch is Deke Cooper. Cooper finished with 20 points and 8 rebounds in that game against the Astros. They got a lot of players they can throw at you. Woodward Academy is going to be one of the better teams regardless of classification this year. So that's a great way to kind of have the second and last game in this tournament. And the final one, Norcross Shiloh. It's interesting because I brought up Norcross and the kind of just the tradition of excellence and kind of the new team, right? Obviously, you got Casey Williams you got to watch for, but Jerron Salisbury is a player to me to watch, right? 6'6" wing, and coach talked really, really highly of him. Last year he didn't start because, you know, they had Mir Panome, they had Lamarian Jordan, who's at Georgia. Panome is at Tulane. So he's going to be a big player for them this year, and they're expecting to step up. He's young, right? He's only a sophomore, so he's going to get a lot of good playing time and experience for this team. A lot of their first two losses for Norcross have been very, very close. They combined 9 points, right? So I don't think they should be out of the rankings yet. As Coach Mack said, it's going to take them some time to kind of get going and kind of get everything to mesh because Norcross graduate 5 of their seniors, right? This is a young group besides Toby Ojokwu. So that's something to watch for as well. And then Shiloh has one of the best players in the country in Tyler Jordan. He's a 4-star prospect, does a little bit of everything well. He can space the floor, he can get to the rim. And he had 38 points. Him and Julian Cole, who I'm very high on as well, had 38 points in their big win against Winterboro, 69-61. And Jordan has offers from Mississippi State, Cincinnati, LSU, Texas A&M, and more. So this will be an intriguing matchup for the nightcap. All are great, but that is my top 1 headline. Just that classic. It's going to be fun. A lot of great talent in the Peach State going head-to-head. Number 2, want to get this point out. Big Hoops update. Early signing day period is now concluded. So we'll have to wait a few months before other players can sign. 14 players in the 247 Sports Top 150 remain available, and 6 of those are being 5-stars. So that is number 2. Number 3, got to give a shout-out and some awards and honors for softball. This is via Gwinnett Daily Post. The champions were Buford and Wesleyan in the Gwinnett side. It earned 6 of the top awards by the Gwinnett Diamond Club, which held a season-ending banquet Monday night to celebrate the best from 2023 high school season. 7A champion was Buford, 3A champion was Wesleyan. They shared Team of the Year honors together. Coach of the Year was Buford's Trent Adams and Wesleyan's Mary Blaylock. Buford's Madison Pickens was Player of the Year, and teammate Caroline Stanton was Pitcher of the Year. Wesleyan's Macy Centron earned Defensive Player of the Year honors, and Offensive Player of the Year went to Grayson's Carrie Green, while Secondary was voted Program of the Year. All right, so that is number 3. Number 4, got to give a shout out to the girls program of wrestling for Gainesville. They hosted their first ever meet at home for the wrestling program in a dual format, and it ended up winning 54-24 against Chestatee in their history-making first home match. So that's outstanding. That's a great job by the program, by the leadership, by the administration, kind of just being able to kind of do that and doing a really, really great job. That's exciting too. First time ever hosting a home home match and being able to win in that kind of a fashion is very exciting. So I want to give them a shout out. Number 5, we're going to roll the tape. Great job. Centennial quarterback. He's going to show his athleticism on this play. We're going to roll the clip and show you. He plays a multi-sport athlete. Plays football, plays basketball, and also plays baseball. So it's an outstanding kid. Does everything well. They didn't have their best season, but he did what he could do. I think he took a big step forward. Interviewed him a couple times this year. But let's roll it. I think you'll be impressed by this clip. Just the athleticism and him being able to dunk this ball. Boom. There he is making the steal. Nice dunk right there, finishing. It's just great athletic play. They ended up losing, but I was just impressed with just his ability right there, reading the defense and being able to finish a dunk. Again, not easy to do that. But right there, he's just showing his athleticism, right? So if he could do that in basketball, it shows you what he could do on the football field too, right? He could run. He could be a dual threat kind of a player. He could throw the ball deep. He could do a little bit of everything. So I know he's trying to play on the next level. Got some teams that's interested in him. Middle Tennessee is the one big one. I think it's just outstanding what he's doing. Hopefully next year he'll be able to have a better record and he can play in more. Obviously, they made the playoffs. They ended up losing, but hopefully he can play in more competitive games kind of just going forward for the program. I think he's ready to do so, and he showed you kind of in that clip just his athleticism and what he's able to do. All right, number 6. Now, I know it was just a scrimmage, but oh my goodness, I got to give some love and praise to the Milton Eagles basketball program. Their coach followed me earlier today, Alan Whiteheart. I told him that I got to have him on the show when he has a moment. But Craig, listen to this stat line. Anthony Galls in their scrimmage against McDonough. Guess how many points he dropped? Throw again. Huh? 44. He combined for 70% of their points. They scored 63. They lost. It's just a scrimmage, but 44 in the first game of the season or a scrimmage, that's pretty impressive. So he's got my radar going off. I'm going to watch out for him throughout the season. That was a great just match between them two. Obviously, McDonough's kind of new pieces in there, right? Keenan Gray is going to be their dominant scorer all season long, right? And then obviously you got Nigel Thomas, who's going to step up big, the coach's son, as well. But I think that's great. That's a good sign for Milton, who a lot of people are high on their backcourt. Gauls dropping that many points, I think, shows a lot. I mean, again, you're still working out the kinks and everything in the first couple games of the season. Him being able to do that, I think, says a lot. So he gets my shout out. Number 6, top headline. Number 7, got to give some love to some youth football. Talked about it in my article on Monday with Tucker. Shout out Joshua Morse and Aaron Good, the coach's son, for winning B2 players of the game. Also, I got to give a special shout out. And also, they got the big win against Southwest Cardinals, 38-6 in a dominant game. But special love to Kevin Hughes, a.k.a. Rambo. I think it's a player we got to start talking about. He was named B2C Player of the Game after his performance in the 22-16 victory in the GFL State Championship. He's going to be one to watch. He's at Buford. He's probably going to stay there, right? I think next year he'll be a freshman. He's going to be one to watch going forward. We'll see kind of what happens. He'll probably play JV ball. It might be good enough. We'll see how much he kind of progresses and gets better and things like that. He might even end up playing and having a little bit of a role on the varsity team. We will find out, but I want to give him a shout out and also the Tucker program as well. All right, number 8, Nike Nike EYBL 2024 schedule was just announced. If you guys don't know, this is one of the elite programs in the summer. Some of the top basketball talent across the country playing this. And what it kind of looks like is in April 26th to the 28th, it's in Memphis, Tennessee. May 3rd to the 5th is through Atlanta. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. May 17th through the 19th, it's in Indianapolis, Indiana. May 24th to the 27th, it is in Kansas City, Missouri. And then July 12th to the 21st, it is the Peach Jam in Georgia. So that'll be a lot of fun seeing the top talent. It will be twice here in Georgia, so that says a lot about the talent that comes out of Georgia. Big time tournament. I'm definitely going to try to go to one of these and see some of the marquee talent in the country. All right, number 9, Gicari Harris makes it official, commits to Purdue. That was last night. He will be in action, as I mentioned in the aforementioned On the Radar Hoops Tip-Off Classic. One of those outstanding players. His coach talked a little bit about his play. I didn't want to just talk about what everybody else talks about, but I just want to talk about his progression from when you first seen him to now. And you can see that in the conversation. Him just, okay, hey, you need to work on this. Him going to go work on it and improving it before coming into the season, or improving it if he said something in January, improving it in March and April, and already having it down when it comes to playing summer ball. Then it speaks a lot to him. Purdue's getting a really great player. Purdue has been one of those marquee kind of programs in the last few years in college basketball. They haven't been able to get over the hump, but I think they got the right coach, and now they're getting a good players now, and I think they're as high as I think they're top 10 actually in the recruiting standings in the 2024 class. So that would be one to watch for. All right, number 10 to conclude the show. Congrats to 2024 Red Devils running back, outside linebacker. That is Jordan Beasley. He won Offensive Player of the Game versus Taylor County. He had 8 rushes for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns, and 3 receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown. I think he just recently decommitted as well a couple of hours ago from Charles Southern, so his recruiting is back open, I also believe, as well. So that's all I got, guys. Thanks for tuning in. That was your top 10 headlines presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. I appreciate you tuning into the show. I know it was a little bit longer, but wanted to bring that good content for you guys, especially head coach Geoffrey Pierce and the Grayson program. That's all I got. Will be a great weekend. Craig will be there at Langston Hughes, Rome. I think who are you trying to get on tomorrow? Ooh. He's going to bring on head coach Bruner tomorrow. I'm sure that's going to be an outstanding conversation between those two. Will be a lot of fun, so you stay tuned for that. Head coach Bruner, one of our favorites, coming on our shows always, and what he does with the Walton program. They got a big one. Who does Walton play this week? Walton plays North Gwinnett, so it will be an interesting matchup to watch. So you can stay tuned for Craig So Drive for the GSJ State title tomorrow. That's all I got. We'll see you guys next Thursday for another rampant episode. More hoops talk, more football talk, and all the funs. Oh, never mind. I won't have a show next week. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Next week is actually Thanksgiving. Graham is right. I forgot all about that. That's how you know I'm not even thinking about that. That's crazy. All right, but I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to all the players and all the families for tuning in and all the comments in the comment section. We really appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube for more fantastic content. We will see you guys tomorrow and next week. Peace.